What's up guys, it's Josh from KeepItTechie, your go-to channel for all things Linux and tech. And I've got a story for you today that's straight out of a spy thriller, but it's 100% real. I'm talking about the Hezbollah exploding pagers. Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't seen a pager or a beeper, as we used to call them back in Louisiana, since the 90s. And I remember dudes back then would have those flashy cowhide belts with matching pager holders, flexing like they were the coolest thing ever. And if you're from Louisiana, you know what belts I'm talking about and where they actually came from. Now fast forward to today, and this tech relic is back in the news, but not in a good way. Hezbollah has been using pagers for secure communications, and recently a whole bunch of them started exploding, not just malfunctioning, literally exploding. And this incident killed at least 11 people and injured nearly 2,800 others. And while it might seem like something out of a sci-fi movie, this story has some serious cybersecurity implications. So today I want to break it down for you, talk about the lessons we can learn and what it means for us Linux users and tech enthusiasts. We're going to dive into supply chain security, practical steps we could take, and like I do with most of these stories, give you guys my thoughts on how we could keep safe in a world where even pagers can turn deadly. Let's get to it. So first off, here's what went down. A few days ago, a bunch of Hezbollah members across Lebanon were hit by simultaneous explosions, and not from bombs, but from pagers. Now, for those of you who might be wondering why on earth anyone is still using pagers in 2024, let me give you a quick backstory. Hezbollah had turned to pagers for secure communications, probably because other digital channels had been compromised. It seems like an old school solution, but when you think about it, pagers are simple, less likely to be hacked, and can operate in areas with poor internet connectivity. So in theory, they're pretty secure. But then out of nowhere, these pagers started blowing up, causing chaos in the streets. Hospitals were flooded with injured people, and the whole thing was a mess. I mean, initial reports suggested that this could have been a cyber attack. Maybe someone hacked into their network and caused the pagers to overheat or explode by triggering some kind of script. But as more details came out, experts started leaning towards a supply chain compromise instead. So this means the pagers were tampered with somewhere along the line, likely before they even reach Hezbollah. We're talking about a physical hardware level modification. Maybe explosives were added during the manufacturing process or along the distribution chain. Now for us, this is a major lesson in supply chain security. And this isn't just something that affects Hezbollah or governments. This kind of attack can happen to anyone, including us tech enthusiasts. So whether you're buying hardware for your Homelab, running a server, or even just tinkering around with Linux on your laptop, the integrity of your hardware and software supply chain matters. Now, let's bring this home to something we can actually do about it. Most of us aren't dealing with sensitive government communications or explosive pagers, but supply chain security is still something every Linux user should be aware of. And here's how. When you install software or hardware, there's a trust relationship happening. You trust that the developers, the manufacturers, and everyone hasn't tampered with the product. But supply chain attacks target this very trust. They compromise devices or software before they reach you. So how can we as Linux users protect ourselves? For one, use trusted repositories. This is the first and easiest step. And if you're running Linux, your distro's official repositories are your best friend. They're well maintained, regularly updated, and vetted to ensure they're not compromised. So when you're installing a new app or package, use apps or DNF Yum if you're using Red Hat based distros to grab it from trusted sources. I mean, avoid downloading random packages from sketchy websites. And if you're using a third-party repository, make sure it's one with a solid reputation. You wouldn't trust just anyone to hand you a device, right? The same rules applies to software. Now, another thing you should do is verify the software integrity that you're installing on your system. Many people skip over this, but it's a simple step that can save you a lot of trouble. When downloading packages outside your distro's official repo, for example, if you're getting a custom app, check your file signature using GPG. The developers will often provide a signature file that lets you ensure the package hasn't been tampered with. Like I said, it's a small step, but it guarantees that what you're installing is what the developers intended. Now, another big thing is keep your system updated. I can't stress this enough. A lot of supply chain attacks target vulnerabilities in outdated software. So the longer you go without updating, the more exposed your system becomes. And if you're running Linux, you've got no excuse. Linux distros make updating easy. I mean, if you're using or Debian base, all you have to do is run apt update, and then you can type in the ampersand and apt upgrade. It'll get your system up to date. And also on Ubuntu based systems, there is the unattended update. So all your security packages will be updated in the background. And if you're on Fedora or CentOS, DNF update is very simple to run. And like I said earlier, staying updated helps protect against known exploit that attackers rely on most of the time. Now, if you're like me and running a Homelab or multiple servers, it's important to keep an eye on what's going on with your network. You don't need to go all out with enterprise grade solutions, but some basic monitoring tools can give you peace of mind. You can use tools like fail to ban or UFW to keep an eye on suspicious logins or accesses. And for more advanced setups, you can use Nagios or Zabbix to monitor your network traffic and system health. The point is, just don't assume everything's fine. Actively monitor your systems for anything out of the ordinary. Now, lastly, be cautious with hardware purchase. This might sound extreme, but if you're buying critical devices, whether it's a new server, network gear, make sure they're coming from a reputable source. Avoid too good to be true deals from unknown sellers, especially on places like eBay. In today's world, even hardware can be compromised. It's not just about malware anymore. Someone could tamper with the physical device itself. Now, let's get real for a minute. For me, this topic hits home because of my time spent in the Middle East working for the Department of Defense. When you're in those kind of environments, secure communications aren't just important, they're life or death. So seeing something as basic as a pager being used as a tool for destruction is a stark reminder that the most unexpected things can be compromised. And the creativity of attackers is mind-blowing. They're no longer just trying to hack your software, they're going after the hardware itself. For us Linux users, this is where we've got a unique advantage. I mean, open source gives us transparency that you don't get with closed source software. We have the ability to check the code, inspect it, and verify that everything is as it should be. But at the same time, it's not a get out of jail free card. We still have to be proactive. Just because something is open source doesn't mean we can take it for granted. We've got to verify, keep things updated, and stay on top of what's happening in the wider world of security. And I know a lot of you watching this are like me. You're passionate about tech, and you've probably got your own Homelab set up, or maybe even work in IT. So whether you're running Linux for fun or for business, the lesson here is to stay vigilant. Security isn't just for the big guys, it's for all of us. And that's the beauty of the Linux community. We're in this together, and we're all about sharing knowledge to keep each other secure. All right, guys, so that wraps up my deep dive into the Hezbollah exploding pagers incident and what it teaches us about supply chain security. It's crazy to think about, but it's also a powerful reminder of the importance of staying on top of your security game, from software you install to the hardware you use. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts. How are you securing your Linux system? And what steps are you taking to make sure your hardware and software are legit? Let's talk about it. As always, thanks for watching. And until next time, keep learning, keep securing, and of course, keep it techie. Whenever I talk to people, whenever I mentor people dealing with, getting into tech, you got to figure out what you like or what you're interested in. Because yeah, a lot of people get into the, tech field because you can make a good amount of money. The money is the motivator. But you also, in my opinion, in order for you to be happy, you got to like what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And so, like for me, a lot of times it doesn't feel like work, bro. Most times it really doesn't feel like work. Yeah, I'm doing something fun. I'm doing something I love to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes it, great for me.